All right. Now, I just want to say that it's been so long since Cole and I have been on the right call. And I know with all the fan mail we've been receiving and saying, like, what's your deal? When are you guys going to have another episode of The Right Call? And here we are.
Indeed we are. And I mean, guys, I don't know how you got our address in the first place, but our mailbox is just overflowing.
It's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Well, it's our email box.
It's our email box and our mailbox. They're attacking us from all sides.
All right, Cole. So we're going to do a mishmash to catch up in sports today. But I was going to start with the Red Sox, but I just need to mention one thing that's annoying me. So, I was on ESPN.com today, and I saw a headline story that Jimmy Garoppolo is on track to begin his throwing. Does anybody care? Why are we seeing stories about Jimmy Garoppolo? He is so insignificant after his horrendous showing in the playoffs, and the 49ers did well in spite of him. And Trey Lance is clearly the guy now. Can we just take Jimmy Garoppolo off the news? Because I don't even want to hear from him.
I don't know. I mean, I think he's out of the San Francisco range, but I think he could be a good fit in other teams. I mean, there's teams that are looking for a QB right now. Carolina, Seattle, there's teams like that who are really looking for QBs, and I think, what are you laughing at?
Well, I'm just trying to think, is the criteria for those teams looking for QBs that suck in the clutch, throw interceptions in the fourth quarter, and don't know how to win? I'm just curious, is that the criteria?
Okay, so you're saying you'd rather have Sam Darnold on Carolina or, no, not Geno Smith, it's Drew Lock on Seattle?
There is no sentence that will ever come out of my mouth that starts with, I would rather have Sam Darnold. That sentence doesn't even exist.
You'd rather have me at quarterback?
I would absolutely rather. I mean, you have a pretty good arm. I've seen at times you have a pretty good arm.
Appreciated.
Yeah. So, all right. We've wasted, let's see, a good minute on Jimmy Garoppolo, so that has to be gone. All right. Let's talk about the Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox have finagled their way back into contention for the wild card. They're not going to win the division. The Yankees are going to win the division. The Yankees are probably going to win the World Series this year. They have the best record in baseball, but we can go with this charade that is the Red Sox for the heck of it. Cole, I got to tell you, I don't know if the schedule makers in the MLB owed the Red Sox a favor, but over the last 6 weeks, they've basically played minor league teams, and give them credit, the wins count. They're beating up on Seattle and Oakland and Detroit and all these bad teams. But I am not a believer. Their bullpen still sucks. They have these guys like Ryan Brazier. Luckily, you know what? I just realized this success has coincided with Matt Barnes being hurt. That could be one of the factors.
I believe it is. I feel like Matt Barnes being even in the locker room brings bad energy to the team.
So, Cole, bottom line is, do you believe in this team? Yeah, they're probably going to get a wild card. But do you believe this team will even win their first round 3-game series?
I do. I mean, I feel like it depends who the Red Sox play. I feel like they're a better team now than the Rays. I feel like the Rays just don't really have much talent aside from Wander Franco and Randy Rosarino, who is not having a great year this year. So, I mean, what are you laughing at? My God.
I'm impressed that you know Randy Rosarino's statistics for the year.
Well, I appreciate it. Maybe I follow a little bit of baseball.
That's good.
I know my ins and outs.
Okay, very impressive.
So, they're a better team than the Rays. They're not better than the Blue Jays, even though they have a better record. No, they don't. But
can you name another hitter on Tampa Bay besides those two?
Kevin Kiermaier.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. All right, anyway, go ahead.
So, I mean, the Blue Jays are a better team.
Blue Jays have been a little bit of a disappointment, though. They've been struggling.
They have, but they have a ton of young guys. They have Vladdy. They have Bo Bichette, Kevon Biggio. I mean, they have so many young guys that could step up in further years. I mean, it's going to be hard it's going to be hard to stop them when they all get in their prime.
Okay, so again, though, just one other question. But can they win a first round playoff series, a wild card matchup?
Well, like I said, I think it depends on who they play.
Okay.
They play the Blue Jays or the Rays, I think they'll win.
Because if I hear one more narrative from the Red Sox organization, Chris Sale's coming back, James Paxton's coming back.
What's your deal with Chris Sale?
Chris Sale is dead. He is undependable.
He's not dead.
He can't say the guy. Even when he was healthy towards the end of the year last year, he sucked. Do you remember how bad he was in the playoffs last year?
You gotta let him get into a rhythm.
Oh, God.
Rhythm. Gotta let him get into a rhythm.
If I hear one more excuse for Chris Sale is not dependable. And I'll tell you right now, the bigger thing, and I think I said this on a podcast earlier this season, The Red Sox honestly really bore me. And I don't know if I can discern between whether baseball just bores the daylights out of me now or that the Red Sox bore me. Honestly, Cole, when you turn on the Red Sox, who are you excited to watch besides Rafael Devers?
You know who I'm going to say. Alex Verdugo. He's the best. He's amazing. He's underrated. He just needs to get into his rhythm. Give him a couple more years, and he'll be an all-star.
Okay.
Give him a couple more years.
I just want to bring up one more Red Sox thing since you teed it up so beautifully. Could the Red Sox have got any less of a return for Mookie Betts? I went to a Woo Sox game a couple of weeks ago, and for those of you who don't know who the Woo Sox is, that's the AAA team for the Red Sox. And just for the record, I saw Connor Wong and Jeter Downs, the other two players they got in the trade besides underachieving Andrew Benintendi light Alex Verdugo. And I'm looking at Jeter Downs. Jeter Downs is hitting like 180. He whiffed 3 times in the game. He looks completely lost. I would actually petition the Woo Sox make Jeter Downs remove his first name because I don't think he should be able to have Jeter in his name because the closest thing that he has to Jeter is that it's his first name and it was Derek Jeter's last name.
Okay.
Awful.
Okay.
Connor Wong, awful. Like these guys, Alex Verdugo, Punch and Judy left fielder who has no power. Horrible.
You see me cracking my neck during this? That's because I'm so exhausted.
Are you trying to simulate Chris Sale's health?
How would that make sense? And I'm trying to simulate my exhaustion with you complaining about Alex Verdugo. Give him a chance. Let him roam free. The reason he's doing so badly is because he's being put down.
He's awful?
He's sitting home crying and depressed because people like you are dissing him every left and right.
Well, I only diss him when he plays left. All right. Anyway, let's move on.
Please.
I know we don't have a lot of hockey followers, but I do want to address a couple of things in hockey. First of all, I want to talk about Bruce Cassidy being fired from the Bruins because that was a while ago, but we haven't done a podcast. I really struggle with the decision. I do get it because Bruce Cassidy was constantly calling people out last year, and his voice, I think, started to wear off, and he wasn't having the same impact. But I also think, as you and I have discussed, I do think Patrice Bergeron, he denies it, but I do think Patrice Bergeron wanted Bruce Cassidy gone. And, you know, Cole, the thing for the Bruins, the only thing I want to mention of the Bruins is whether Bruce Cassidy was the problem or not, Don Sweeney is a terrible general manager. Cam Neely, who was my favorite hockey player growing up, awful president. They've had terrible drafts. They need a change at the top, not just from Bruce Cassidy.
I agree. It's time for a rebuild in that organization. I mean, you don't really have any young talent, but like any standout young talent. I mean, Pasta's
except for Fabian Lysell.
Oh my goodness.
And Mason Laurie.
Oh wow, you got me, Jiminy Crickets. You got me there. God, the Bruins are just are screwed for the next few years if they don't get if Bergeron and Marchand leave.
What movie did Jiminy Cricket star in? If you don't get this, you're going to have to leave the show. You can't reference Jiminy Cricket and not know the movie he starred in.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog?
Oh, my God. I apologize, listeners. Pinocchio.
Oh, I don't listen to movies about liars. You taught me to be honest.
Wow, good ad lib there. Good job. I like that response. You recovered. Very nice.
Thank you very much.
All right. One more hockey note. Lightning and Avalanche are in the cup right now, Cole. Avalanche could have sealed it last night. Didn't. It's now 3-2 Colorado heading back to Game 6 Tampa. Tampa has a chance to three-peat. They have the hearts of lions. Is Tampa going to come back and win this series, or will Colorado finally take them down?
I don't know. You might as well just call it 3-3 because whoever wins this next game is going to win the cup.
Wow. So if Tampa wins the next one, they're going to come back to Colorado.
They're going to come back in Colorado and win. I mean, I just don't see the past 2 Stanley Cup winners, like Tampa, since they've won the last 2 years. I don't see them going into the Cup Game 7. I don't see them losing that game. They have too many veterans. They have Stamkos, Kucherov. They have young talent. They have Hedman. It's just going to be tough. And Braden Point likely to come back for Game 6. Just saw that on ESPN. So
we appreciate you watching the ticker to be updated on the right call. That's really good.
Of course.
Yep.
Right. So I'm thinking like priorities. Right call, school, basketball.
Well, no, I think East Coast kicks.
Oh, yeah. Well, it goes right call, and then there's a plateau. And then it's East Coast kicks.
Good answer. All right, let's switch over to the Patriots for a minute. Obviously, football season yet to come in high gear. Just want to talk about all the publicity coming out of Patriots training camp about Mac Jones, how he looks stronger and he's more accurate and he's simulating Tom Brady and all this. I mean, all this narrative. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Mac Jones fan. I'm a believer. I don't know whether I believe he can take the Patriots to a Super Bowl, but I'm believing in the kind of quarterback he is, and that remains to be seen. But then when you listen to scouts around the NFL, I mean, Cole, a lot of scouts around the NFL are saying he might be the 20th ranked quarterback this season. His arm isn't good enough. The same things we used to hear about Brady. What's the deal? Is all this stuff about Mac Jones to make the Patriots owner, management and Belichick look great as they like spin the publicity wheel, or is this for real?
Whatever about Mac Jones. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He does have some Tom Brady in him, and we saw that last season. I mean, he's not going to be as good as Tom Brady, but Mac Jones is your average, old school, accurate, somewhat strong arm quarterback that could take you to Super Bowl if he has the right what's the word I'm looking for? Tools with him.
That's not such a complex word to not be able to think about.
Hey, you watch it over there.
I thought you were just going to come up with some great word there. And you're like, tools.
I don't want to hear it, Pinocchio. I don't want to hear Jiminy Cricket.
All right. Anyway, so, Cole, let's talk about the NBA draft for a minute. So any big surprises in your mind last night? And, OKC had 3 picks in the first 11 or 12. Anything to look forward to?
I mean, I throughout the March Madness, I mean, I got to see Paulo Banchero play. I got to see Chet play. I got to see Jabari play. So, I mean, there's definitely some prominence within the top 3 picks. I mean, they're all pretty even. I'm really low on Chet Holmgren because
a gust of wind could blow him over.
Yeah, take my body type, 7 foot and skinnier.
No, you may be stronger than Chet Holmgren.
He is so, but the thing is, he plays like KD. He's just he can range back. He can hit the 3. He can hit the jump shot.
So does that mean he'll try to get traded to the Warriors so he can ride the coattails of someone and win a championship? Is that what you mean when he's like KD?
He is starting in OKC. Maybe he goes OKC, Golden State, Brooklyn.
Oh, my God, he's going the same path, KD.
That's KD.
Scary.
He's going to be white KD.
Now, Cole, there's been rumors also that Kevin Durant may go to Golden State and that he wants out of Brooklyn and so on and so forth. What is Kevin Durant's legacy right now? Because he came out on social media today and literally, again, referred to his God complex. He's about how he's been treated over the course of the career. And, everybody says I only won because I was on Golden State, and all the tears and complaining from KD. So right now, if Kevin Durant were to retire today, he's obviously a Hall of Famer based on the stats and what he accomplished. But it doesn't seem like he has the same cachet and respect that a lot of stars of his ilk have.
I disagree. I mean, I think Kevin Durant, if you ask around the league, players in the league, scouts around the league, analysts, and just casual
Have you talked to some scouts around the league?
Oh, so many.
Okay.
Oh, so many.
But you need
scouts.
to keep it anonymous.
I do.
Okay.
I can't go exposing my sources.
I agree.
That
That's
be fair.
good. That's very respectful.
So just any of those 4 categories, Kevin Durant for the past 10 years has been one of the top players in the league, and you really haven't seen a player for a long amount of time who isn't categorized as an all-time great be good for that period of time. And we see Magic was good for that long. Larry was good for that long. MJ, can you name some other players? I mean, LeBron, Steph. Steph hasn't even been good for 10 years. He will be. He's been good since 2014.
Okay. That's all you got for KD?
That's all I got for KD. I love KD.
Oh, what if he goes to the Celtics?
Then I love him even more.
Okay,
He's not a good fit for the Celtics. It's not going to happen. He's not a good fit.
All right. Final right call for this episode. What's the right call? What's going on in sports right now? Last comment of the show today that you want to make your right call.
I want everybody to know that Cooper Kupp is still going to be the best wide receiver in fantasy next year. Jamar Chase will be a firm number 2.
All right, I need
Not
to
going
cut you
and
off.
keeping both of them. So I just want you guys to know those 2.
I need to cut you off.
All
all right. My final right call is that Cole and I have been watching the 10-part documentary on HBO, Winning Time with the Lakers. It's horrendous, and it just reminds me why I hate the Lakers so much in the first place. But all the characters are so mischaracterized. It's so ridiculous, and they make Jerry West look like a buffoon, and he's not a buffoon. But anyway, the one thing that I did take away from the series is how annoying Magic Johnson is and was, and how awesome Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was.
Yeah.
So for this episode of The Right Call and Cole Altman, I'm Mark Altman. We'll see you next time.